Good Tuesday evening, the night before Valentine's Day. We have a dear friend on. I will introduce him in a minute, but I want to thank all my sponsors who you've seen on the post in the beginning, and all of my guys and girls that are on my show will get. Davey, you get a Big Daddy goodie bag,
Oh,
and it
what?
comes, baby. It comes with an XLR cord. It comes with gaff tape, a first aid kit. I'm telling you, I spared no expense here. I'm
Let's
telling you
go.
to make sure I take care of my good friends. But thank you to all my sponsors every week. You guys are awesome. And of course, John Young, you're the best. But today we're going to, I'm going to be chatting with a wonderful friend. We've known each other for a bunch of years. And because the way the business is, thank heavens for cell phones and some FaceTimes here and there. And folks, you've got a great friend and family member when you don't see somebody or talk to somebody for 6 months, and it's like you haven't seen them or talked to them in 6 minutes. That is my guest this evening from Jacksonville, Florida. He was just in Acapulco, Mexico. He's rocking it all over. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, Mr. David Hanscom.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, brother. And yeah, Mexico was pretty cool for the last 5 days. I got home at like 1 o'clock this morning or something like that. I had to be back
Ooh,
up at 7 o'clock this morning because I'm now the president of my MPI chapter, and our meeting was this morning. So it happens.
oh, yeah, it happens. But so how was you said Mexico? It was a little bit chilly there.
Yeah, yeah. So I was actually in Cabo, Mexico,
Oh,
Cabo
okay.
San Lucas. Yeah, and this is the first time I've ever been there, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was everything you would think it was. The water was bar none, just so incredible. But a lot of the local people told me it was a bit chillier than it normally is. It even rained one day we were there, and one of the guys
Wow.
told me it never rains there. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, I'm from Florida, so I probably brought the rain because it always rains in Florida. So I
Well, that
might have
sounds
just
like a
brought it with me.
song. That sounds like a song we should write.
I
It
know.
never
We could
rains
write
in
about
Mexico, but it rains
California.
always in, yeah, but yeah. So let's get to the meat of the business. How did you get started in this business and how long have you been in it?
It's such a funny story. So I actually was my goal was to follow in the footsteps of this guy right behind me and play professional basketball when I was in high school. But I had to have complete reconstructive surgery on both of my ankles prior to getting out of high school. I had to learn to walk technically 3 times in my life because each time I had reconstructive surgery on one of my ankles, I had to literally learn how to walk again. And during that time frame, I was playing, like, if it had a uniform, I played it. Like, I played every sport if it was possible. And my parents just kind of started saying, "Hey, well, what else do you like? Maybe sports isn't your thing. Maybe you need to look at some other interests in life." And I was like, "Well, I like music, and I'm definitely the class clown. Even though I'm a very introverted person, I'm kind of like that guy that will say something funny and then duck under the desk, and everybody's like, 'Who the hell just said that?' Like, that's definitely me." And so they started looking around, and my dad was in the military. We were stationed on the island of Bermuda at this time frame. And so he connected with some people at the local radio and television station, and he's like, they have I think they called it co-op or something like that back when I was in school back then. And they were like, you could come work at the radio station for half the day and then go to school to half the day. I was like, I'm sold. Let's do it. Let's go. And so I really originally got into radio, and then I quickly realized that there's only like 8 people in radio that actually were making money. And I was like, I got to do something other than this because I can't pay my bills with, at the time it was CDs. I can't pay my bills with CDs and concert tickets. So I got to figure something else out. And I just started meeting other people that were in the wedding and private event space. And they just kind of started introducing me to it. And this would have been back in like 80, 88, 89, believe it or not.
You're
Yep.
a young kid for that.
No, man. I know. I wear this just to, no.
You wear it well.
I
Um,
tape all this on here.
and when did you move to Florida? How long have you been in Jacksonville?
So I've been in Jacksonville since I graduated high school there in Bermuda. I came back here. That's another funny story, actually. I came back to Jacksonville to go to radio broadcasting, and I took a radio broadcasting class in Jacksonville, Florida. I got to the very last semester of my class. There was only 3 people in our class, and so they canceled the program on the three
Oh,
of us at the last semester. So I never got my degree, but luckily I got a job working in radio pretty quickly after that. And again, it was cool for a while. I was young. I didn't have any responsibilities, and that was cool. But as I started getting older, I was like, I got to do something other than this.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like it. Um, What drives you, my friend? What is your passion for this industry?
I think for me, the driving factor is, believe it or not, the next generation. I am who I am today because of people like you, because of Raymar, who's not with us anymore, people like that who saw a young me and said, hey, let me help you, let me guide you, let me show you how to be successful in this industry. And so I constantly, you can see I'm getting emotional about it right now because it you know, that impact was so strong on me that I continue to keep saying, one day I'll find a way to pay you back. And so for me, it's looking at the next generation of people in this industry and saying, how can I help them avoid some of the mistakes that I avoided? How can I help them become not better DJs, because you can do that on YouTube, but how can I help them become better business owners? How can I help them become better business partners? How can I help them become better friends, better family members, whatever they are in life? How can I help them become better in those areas? Because like I said, YouTube and all these other things can train you how to be a better DJ, and then practice can help you be a better DJ. So I think that to me, that's what drives me, is like, hey, who can we help next?
How, and also what you're doing, and what I'm trying to get across is become better people, because this is a people business. And because 2020 through 2024 has been, again, a new, am I right, David? A new learning experience for all of us. You know, how do you get from here to here? And you're not allowed to go near people, everything else. So you had to learn the Zoom and everything with the podcast and everything else that John's doing with that, and you did with yours and everything else. Both of our, and I know you well enough to know I can say this. I am, again, I'm honored to have you here. I love you, dear. I love you like a brother.
Thank you.
What our goal is to make the future brighter because of who we can help, how we can help. And that's what these shows are for, is letting the people know that there's other people out there that are willing to help you. Not about your gear, not about your lights, not about anything else. But again, how to become better people. And you do it so well, my brother. You do it so well.
Thank you. Well, you know, I think a lot of it, man, to be honest with you, Big Daddy, a lot of it is just, you know, I think about, you know, you talk about during COVID, man, and I remember like, holy shoot, this is not in the DJ manual anywhere. Like, how do we handle this, right? And I was like, you know, but then immediately I said, but wait a minute, I've got people working for me that are depending on me, that are looking to me for that answer. So then I started kind of this framework of like, listen, guys, we just need to lean down and get to the other side of this thing, because we know it's going to happen. We know if we can just get to the other side of this thing, people are going to start doing events again. As human beings, we want community. We want celebration. We want to have opportunities to be together. So in my mind, I'm like, we just got to get to the other side of this.
And you're right about that. That was one of the big things we learned. But also, everything on social media, you succeeded more by being a positive influence, not the poor, pitiful me. I have no. None of us had work.
Right.
We did, you know, we had, and one of the things we had to learn was diplomacy, dealing with the people that, hey, guys, we understand. I don't know what we can tell you. We're not allowed to do anything. I promise you, we'll make your wedding spectacular when you're able to have it. That was a learning, and there was, and you know this, there was no learning curve for that. No learning curve whatsoever.
You know what the hardest part, I think, of all of that is that people, maybe rightfully so, were saying, you know, hey, how much, you know, like, you know, I got to pay my bills. I got to do this. I got to do the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, but so do we. Like, this is how we make a living. This is not just some fun thing we're doing just because we like to have parties. Like, this is how I take care of my family. So if I can't do this, how do I do that? How do I take care of my family? You know?
And giving back deposits and everything else. And it was, and you know that, baby, it's a struggle every day. But let's get to positives.
Yeah, 100%.
And you are, and that poster behind you, the only thing missing behind me is the one that Rocky did with his son in Rocky Balboa. That whole speech, that 1.5, 2-minute speech, that's me all day long.
Yep.
Give my guys and girls 3 lessons or takeaways, if you will, that you can share, that within the next 10 days to 2 weeks that they can implement. That's the one thing that when you go to these conventions and everything else, you're learning all this stuff, but then it just sits there. Yep. What can you give these folks tonight that they can implement within the next 10 days, 2 weeks? At least one of them.
Cool. I actually, it's perfect. I kept this because I had to, when I mentioned earlier, I became the president of my local MPI chapter. So I had to do like this acceptance speech thing. And when you talked to me a little bit, briefed me on what we were going to talk about tonight, I said, you know what? I need to bring some of that stuff with me. So I have some notes here. So if I look down, this is why. Okay.
No problem.
Number one, while we might be reading the same book, it doesn't mean we're on the same chapter. So that's my first one. Okay. We are all in this industry. We're all DJs. We're all entertainers. We're all doing something. But even though that's the same book we're all reading, Big Daddy and I, we're in, I don't know, pardon my language. We're in like chapter 89 or, 107 or something like that. Right. And other guys are like in chapter 24, 22, or like Jordan, 23, right? 23. You cannot gain what you need unless you take the time to have experience, unless you take the time to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. There's not enough YouTube videos. There's not enough anything out there, gurus and all this other stuff. Nothing beats experience. And you can't accelerate that. It has to happen. So this really looks at this whole comparison thing. And when in social media is good and bad, you can let social media motivate you, or you can let social media ruin you. And the way you let social media ruin you is by comparing these chapters and looking at what another DJ is doing and looking at what they're out there accomplishing and saying, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. Well, of course, because you're probably nowhere close to the chapter in that book that they're in. And one day you're going to get there. And the smart thing is to learn from them. So once again, you hopefully can avoid a lot of the mistakes that they made and get there faster. All right. So that's my number one. I really think that's a big one, man. Okay.
Big one. Like it.
Let me see. I have too many here. This is my next one. I love this. Okay. So it's an acronym. It's AKGNKS. AKGNKS. That stands for always keep giving, never keep score. Think about that. Everything you do in life, give with nothing of expectation in return. And when you do that, it will open up doors. It will open up opportunities you never even knew existed. But if all you're doing is doing things and keeping score and waiting for your, here's a prime example. When people talk about, somebody asks you to do an event for exposure and you're like, well, exposure doesn't pay the bills. But does it? Because I can tell you, I know a lot of people who did something for exposure and they're world renowned now because they did that one thing. They didn't keep score. They didn't worry about what they were going to get in return. They just said, you know what? I believe enough, hey, the Super Bowl just happened in Vegas. I believe enough in myself to gamble and not get paid to do this. And I'm going to prove what I'm capable of doing. And I know that somebody somewhere is going to see that or be a part of that and give me an opportunity. Again, I never even knew existed. And to me, that's called playing chess, not checkers.
Amen.
All right. So let's see. Can I give you two more, or am I only allowed to do three?
No, you can do that, babe. You had me crying at the second one. Hello.
Okay. So number three. Sorry, I'm losing track. I've had no sleep. Okay. Number three, surround yourself with people who will fight for you in rooms you may never even be able to be in. Okay. Let me repeat that. Surround yourself with people who will fight for you in rooms you never may be able to be in. This is so big to me, right?
Yeah.
Think about this. Okay. I made this little note to kind of an analogy of this. If I hit the lottery for $100 million, friends and family will be like, we won, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
But if I go bankrupt, those same people will say, you are bankrupt, not we are bankrupt. Okay. So think about that. Think about the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Think about the people who are going to speak highly of you in an opportunity. Again, like I said, the MPI chapter that I keep saying I'm the president of, and I don't mean to say that arrogantly. I just mean that this is a new, fresh thing for me. But if it wasn't for this MPI chapter, the AV and production business portion of my business wouldn't even exist, because there were people in that group that were talking about me and my capabilities and our company and what we can do to people that I never knew existed. And they were not necessarily defending me, but they were saying, look, if you're tired of dealing with what you're dealing with, go talk to this guy. If you're tired of paying absorbent amounts of money, go talk to this guy, because he's going to kill it for you and he's going to do it at a fair rate. And my production and AV business grew because of that. I didn't even know they were doing that, but I put myself in that position to allow to be a part of that.
Of course. I
right?
like that. Yep.
So yeah, absolutely. And I think just touching a little bit on leadership here, because a lot of these three things that I talked about early are really more about positioning yourself just as an individual. Okay. But from a leadership standpoint, remember that to truly lead people, you should walk behind them, not in front of them. Okay. You really want to make sure that you understand what people are going through up here and here. Okay. So that you understand how to help them, how to communicate to them. I mean, I could talk forever about the 5 love languages. I think there's also 5 professional languages, which are kind of the same as the 5 love languages. And if you don't know about that, look into that. Big Daddy, I know you know all about that. But if you don't know about the 5 love languages, look into it. It's not about husband and wife and boyfriend and girlfriend and all this stuff only. It's about communicating with people. And every one of us, we communicate one way, and we give one way and we receive one way. And I'll use an example. So one of the 5 love languages is words of affirmation. Okay. So let's say, Big Daddy, your love language is words of affirmation, but my love language is gifts, gift giving, right? I show my love by gift giving. So I'm giving you gifts all the time and I'm sending you gifts all the time, but you're not really receiving that, because you want me to, your love language wants me to be like, hey, Big Daddy, you killed that event. Man, I love seeing all your workout videos. Man, keep working hard. Like, that's what motivates you. But if I don't know that, then we're not making a connection with each other, because I'm not speaking your love language. Even though I'm giving what I feel my love language is, I haven't taken the time to get to know you, to know what your receiving love language is. Right?
Like
so
that.
this is so important to really communicate with people. And then one bonus tip, and then I'll stop. Okay. If anybody ever says to you, what is the most important piece of equipment that you bring to your event? If you ever say a speaker, a mixer, a light, a photo booth, or any of that crap, I'm coming after you. Okay. Because the most important pieces of equipment you'll ever bring to an event is right here and right here. And the closer that these two become, the better you'll be at everything you do in life.
Amen. Oh, wow. We could be on here for hours.
Yeah, man.
You know, the main point of those takeaways, the big one for me, 2, always keep giving, never keep score. Because that's what we do. I'm never looking for a pat on the back. I will do everything in my power to make sure that you're okay or whatever. Davey does the same thing. We do that for each other. We chat. And again, I'll get emotional here. Davey, I love you and I thank you. That is always keep giving, never keep score. Same book, not the same chapter. Folks, I'm telling you, whenever you can go, this gentleman is going to be speaking at the McKee show in June. Get there. And we're going to find out where you can get a hold of him via everything else. But McKee show in June, he's one of the reasons I'm going to be there. Yes, I've been the host, everything else. But getting to hang out with Dave before and after, for me, I could just sit there and I'll be crying my eyes out halfway through years anyway. But that's the 2 big things for me. Always keep giving. Never keep score. Never look for that pat on the back. Never look to put out there on whatever social media, oh, look what I did for this person. Look what I did for that person. Between Davey and I, we fill Facebook and Instagram for years in the first day, because we're trying to help. He is trying to help our future. That's what this show is about. It's about Big Daddy hanging with his friends on a Tuesday night, and the friends that I have and family members that I have on here are the reason that the future is going to be okay. And listen to what this man has to say. And same book, not the same chapter. Folks, start learning. And again, he was right. YouTube, you can learn how to be a DJ on YouTube. And the final point was, your biggest piece of equipment, most important piece of equipment is here. And more importantly, right here. Because what our job is to make somebody's, and we're just talking weddings and birthday party and whatever, events like that, not corporate events. Corporate events, we're trying to take them to the next level where the HR person goes, oh my God, see what I did versus what they did last year. That's what that's about. But the rest of our events are about making somebody's most special day of their life something that they're never, ever, ever going to forget. And either is their family. And that's how you make every event like it was the last one you were going to give. But here, and again, and I will reiterate this every night, you were born with one of these and two of these. Use these more than this. And you're going to learn. It's amazing what you're going to learn. And Davey, how can these folks get a hold of you?
It's super simple. All of my social medias are just my name, at David Hanscom. Super simple.
Just remember that. And remember that always. David, I can't thank you enough. Again, like the other guests I've had, I've had Shannon Tarrant. She's amazing. Outside the box, Nicole Nell, everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody that we've had on here, and including tonight, is the future. We are here to make our future better. For those of you that are listening, thank you. For those of you that are watching, thank you even more. KC, I know you're out there somewhere. Yes, I mentioned the McKee, and yes, I mentioned that my man is going to be speaking at it and be there for that too. But, again, thank you, David. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And again, to John Young, you're the best in the business, my friend, and I thank you for everything. And just remember, Davey, you got to IM John your home address so you can get the goodie bag. Now, that's the most important thing about this whole web.
Hey, man, that's worth everything. That's worth everything right there. I'm going to be rocking every bit of that gear.
The Big Daddy smile as loud as you can bag, you happy son of a gun. My friends, thank you all. Next week, we are going to be broadcasting live from Vegas at the Mobile Entertainer Show. I will probably I'll have Chris D'Amico on with me because he is speaking right before I close. Dave, have you ever seen him speak? Have you ever heard him speak?
Oh, yeah. He's amazing.
I'm going to try and have a Facebook Live while he's speaking. The one he's doing next week is about burnout. But we've got some amazing speakers next week. Mr. Michael Walter, one of the best in the business and always will be. Talk about the future. He's been in it for a long time and he's still amazing. But next Tuesday, we will have live from somewhere at the South Point Hotel. And then February 27th, Jordan Chance. Have you met Jordan?
Oh,
David?
Yes.
Some of his stuff, watching some of his stuff is absolutely amazing. But again, thank you all so very much. David, we're going to talk as soon as we say goodbye here. But thank you all very, very much. Happy Valentine's Day to all the Big Daddy's Valentines. You know how many there are? Oh, one or two.
Millions.
And to my family, my Desi and Shannon, my Casey, my Stephanie, and my 6 grandkids, I thank you for being I thank you for letting me be your dad and grandpa. I love you all. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye, everyone.